I wonder what it'll all look like when I land my ship on Mars. Will the sun shine bright and in the night will I see the moon and stars? When I take my walkabout, I wonder what I'll do if I should see coming right at me a bright green kangaroo. So come to the Martian outback, come share this life with me. Just take my hand with yours, my dear, we'll see what we will see. Dum-ba-da-dum-ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. As I stroll along the canals on Mars, I'll see yellow platypus, and we'll blue Martian koala bears have 6-inch ivory tusks. And when I come to a billabong, I'll stop and rest a while beneath the leaves of a red gum tree like a Martian crocodile. So come to the Martian outback, come share this life with me. Just take my hand with yours, my dear, we'll see what we will see. Now we could both be Martian swaggies with our gear inside our packs, and everything that we might need will be stuck upon our backs. Perhaps I'll find a bit of land at the edge of a canyon wide. I'll build a Martian outback hut so I can live inside. It'll have a hammock for when I sleep, porch and a rocking chair. But I could never call it home till you are with me there. So come to the Martian outback, come share this life with me. Just take my hand with yours, my dear, we'll see what we will see. Yeah, come to the Martian outback. Ta-da! That's my claim to fame is I always forget lyrics that I write, and my wife reminds me, but when it's that close to the end, forget it. My wife is, most everybody knows her as Tommy, but that's her nickname. When she was born, her parents named her Marilyn, and then called her Tommy from that day forward. Well, I don't know. I guess she was the 5th girl in the family, and Dad wanted a boy. But this next is a love song to my wife, and if I was to write a love song to Tommy, in most places it would be taken the wrong way. So I wrote this one using her real name. Oh, Marilyn rode her bike to Alaska, drove a dog team out to Nome, kayaked across the sea to Russia. When will Marilyn come back home? Oh, come home, Marilyn, I need you here again. Traveling Marilyn, please come home. When you come home, Marilyn, don't leave again, my pretty Marilyn, I love you so. Then Marilyn, she walked on down to China, took a rickshaw to old Nepal, skied down the slopes all the way to India. Marilyn has certainly done it all. She climbed the mountain, she swam in the fountain, sipped her tea with the king and queen. She even ran with the bulls in Spain. Yeah, there's not much that Marilyn has not seen. So come home, Marilyn, I need you here again. Traveling Marilyn, please come home. When you come home, Marilyn, don't leave again, my pretty Marilyn, I love you so. Then Marilyn safari deep in the Congo, rode her boat all the way to the coast. I wish that Marilyn would come back home again. She is the one I love the most. So come home, Marilyn, I need you here again. Traveling Marilyn, please come home. When you come home, Marilyn, don't leave again, my pretty Marilyn, I love you so. Then she took a cruise ship to New York City, drove a car out to West LA. Tomorrow she's getting on board a big airplane. Marilyn going back home to stay. So come home, Marilyn, I need you here again. Traveling Marilyn, please come home. When you come home, Marilyn, don't leave again. My pretty Marilyn, I love you so. Pretty Marilyn, I love you so. Oh, pretty Marilyn, I love you so. I grew up in Yuma, Arizona, right across the border, and very hot place. So when I get to feeling cold, 25 years we were up in Alaska. Whenever I got to feeling cold, I remembered what hot used to be, and then I'm glad I'm in cold. This is not a true story. Oh, I used to be a cowboy down southern Arizona. Used to ride along the border on an old Appaloosa, bending all the broken fences so the cattle don't stray. Oh, down Mexico way. Now there was a senorita living down in Sonora. I used to go and see her when I was working on the border, and I'd bring her little presents so her eyes would shine. Oh, trying to make her mine, but she had an evil brother by the name of Federico. Everybody knew that Freddie was a bad bandito, wanted by the sheriff for breaking all the laws, only just because he had robbed all the stages and he stole it from the bank. So when he go into cantinas, he would really get tanked. Pull out both his pistols and he'd fire them in the air. Oh, everybody gets scared, cause old Freddie had a habit when he's drinking at the bar. He liked to dance la cucaracha to the music of guitars. Everybody had to join him or it'd shoot him in the head. Oh, until they was dead. One sunny day in Yuma, I was having me a toddy. It was hot enough to vaporize the sweat off of my body. I had just finished pouring me a giant glass of gin. Oh, when evil Freddie walked in, he'd been riding real hard, trying to outrun the posse. He was hot and he was sweaty, he was acting real bossy. Drew his big pistola, then he stuck it in my ear. Oh, and then he said, real clear, "Don't meet my little sister and make me very mad. She's the only hermanita this always ever had. So you better say your prayers to the man up in the sky. Cause you're going to die. But before I shoot you, I'm going to drink this glass of water." I just didn't have the heart to say it, didn't think he oughta. He grabbed my glass of gin and then he chug-a-lugged it down. Oh, and then his eyes spun around. He was coughing, he was wheezing, he was trying hard to breathe. Dropped his pistol on the table when he stumbled to his knees. I picked it up and turned it around and gave his head a clout. Oh, and evil Freddie passed out when the sheriff and his posse finally stumbled through the door. Well, I was standing over Freddie, who's unconscious on the floor, and so we took some rope and tied up both his hands and his feet. And the sheriff gave a speech. He said, "Cowboy, listen to me, for you've done your country proud. You have captured that bandito who's ugly, mean, and loud. Now tonight we'll all be thanking both you and the Lord." Oh, about the reward. Now I own El Rancho Grande and I'm living pretty. I got evil Freddie, little sister, she's the apple of my eye. You know we got a dozen children and we're happy as can be. Oh, now about evil Freddie. Well, he'd been a model prisoner, so they let him out early. He had found himself religion and he saw his life more clearly, but he didn't want to work around anybody else. Oh, he had to be by himself, so I hired him as a cowboy up near southern Arizona, where he rides along the border on my old Appaloosa, mending all my broken fences so my cattle don't stray. Oh, back to the USA, hey, hey. Nice having the capo right up here on the headstock, because it makes it real handy when you need it. Another one if you need it. Yeah, but you'd have to dig it out of your pocket. This next song is one I wrote when I was working on the Aleutian Islands, and the weather was cold, wet, and I got lonely, I guess, so I wrote this one too. I am a man, I have a heart, but I can't live if we're apart. So I have built this boat, it's true, and now I'm sailing home to you. troubled seas. I'll banish fear with thoughts of thee. And if I am cold amid the storm, I know my love, there it is, will keep me warm. They will keep me warm. And if my boat should lose its sails, then I will call upon the whales, and I will sing of the love I have known, and they will surely bring me home. They will bring me home. And when at last I am at your door, then I will travel, oh, nevermore. For in your arms I long to be, not on this cold and heartless sea, on the cold, cold sea. Thank you. Like I said, we lived up in Alaska for 25 years, and I worked outdoors pretty much the whole 25 years, all year long. And up there, when it's really cold, you got to have clothing that'll protect you from the cold. There's a brand of clothing manufactured in Minnesota called Carhartts. And Carhartts are quite durable, they're heavy canvas and good insulation, and almost all of us that worked outdoors up there wore Carhartts. Now, I sang this song, I wrote this in the key of A flat. It's an odd key for a songwriter, but I was changing A flat when I wrote it. I was driving to Glen Allen in my big 10-wheeler truck when the new snow on the road caused me to slide off and get stuck. I was not worried, for I had been a Boy Scout as a lad, and I'd brought along my Carhartts if the weather should turn bad. So I put on bunny boots and on bib overalls and coat. I'd bought them down at Brewster's and they kept me warm as toast. The bunny boots were snowy white, the Carhartts tawny brown, and dressed as warmly as can be, I started off towards town. Now I'd gone about 3 miles when it began once more to snow, and coming at me from the north, a chilly wind did blow. This inclement stormy weather made it hard for me to see. I decided just to wait it out beneath an old spruce tree. 'Twas then I saw the hunters in their camo-colored deuce. They were pointing rifles at me and were shouting, "There's a moose!" I waved my arms to warn them off, to show them it was me. Then I realized this probably looked like antlers in the tree. Well, suddenly a bullet struck the branch above my head. If I'd stood there any longer, I am sure that I'd be dead. Shots landed all around me as I slid down the ravine and took off running fast as any track star you have seen. I was sprinting hard to stay ahead, keep from getting killed. And with all of this exertion, well, I was no longer chilled. So I peeled off and tossed away my dear old Carhartt coat. And as it fell, 4 shots rang out and blasted it to smoke. Now I kept on running even when the hunters lost their chase, and I credit my survival near entirely to haste. But I heard them cheering loudly as I crested o'er the hill, congratulating each other on the Carhartt coat they'd killed. Yes, I think back now and then about how close to death I came, and of how much brown duck canvas can resemble antlered game. So, to make sure that my body never does become extinct, all the clothes I wear into the woods are now fluorescent pink. And somewhere in America, just where I cannot say, there is a big game hunter with a trophy from that day. I know it's stuffed and mounted on his wall so he can gloat and tell stories of his courage when he killed my Carhartt coat. I know in Florida you probably don't think about it too often, but in Alaska right now the Iditarod dog sled race is going on. And they had to import snow for the beginning, and Anchorage didn't have any snow on the ground, so they brought in, like 50 train car loads of snow so they could put the first couple of miles of the Iditarod in downtown Anchorage. Well, as an Alaskan, I used to sing at events where they were promoting the Iditarod, and so all of us used to sing the great Iditarod, official Iditarod song, the Iditarod Trail song by Hobo Jim. And then one year they booked me to be on the stage with Jim, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to sing his song, so I wrote this one. There's a race across the frozen snow. It's run from Anchorage into Nome, across a land that was built by God. Race they call Iditarod. I've run that race myself 3 times. When I'd lose, I'd start to cry. Figure I'd never race again till I found me a way to win. Iditarod. This is your part. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. So I got me a mail order PhD in biomedical genealogy. I needed dogs that were fast and mean. I started into splicing genes. Got chromosomes from a thoroughbred mare, pit bull, cheetah, a grizzly bear, added some wolverine and gazelle, a little bit of roadrunner. What the hell? Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. And finally, when race day came around, I brought my hybrid team to town. They went running off down the street with a growl and a whinny and a beep beep out of Wasilla in a connect, running so fast it's making me sick through yet the squinting up mountains high. They were third into Nikolai. Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. Well, we rested for 24 in McGrath, out of old firm moving fast, underneath the sky so blue, out of Caltag, number 2, gets the wind across ice so thick, first place into Shaktoolik. While we were running along, I could tell there was something going wrong. Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. Yeah, they were flopping around like a bunch of bats. Their insides fighting like dogs and cats. They were facial tics and burps and farts. The double helix was falling apart. At safety, they gave a mighty roar, broke their lines, and away they tore out across the tundra gray in each of 16 different ways. Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. Now I pulled that sled all on my own. I was 63rd under the arch in Nome, and not one single dog was left of the team I thought would win that test. But I know that they're out there still. They'd be too difficult to kill. You need 14 tags and permits too, like getting permission to shoot a zoo. So if you ever run into my hybrid beast, take a photograph at least. Give them my best as they run by. Let them know that their mom says hi. Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. One more time. Iditarod. Iditarod. Ooh, Iditarod. Again, so handy having a right down. I'm not going to sing the song, Larry. Good. to say? I only got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll do something else. This is my friend Robert brings me kazoos to when I play this song, and so pass the kazoos around. You know, everybody can. You know how to play a kazoo? Anybody? All right. The short end goes in your mouth, and you just go do 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 do. Yeah, there you go. You got it. All right, you'll figure this out. This is not a hard song. This is my most famous song. I went to the pub after working all day. I ordered a cold Guinness stout, but the yuppies were chatting so thick on their cell phones the barman did not hear me shout. He brought me a glass and a bottle of Bud, set them down in front of me. I coughed and I sputtered in pure disbelief and sang out this chorus with glee. Oh, put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale. It's not the right flavor for me. The color's all wrong and there's not enough foam, and it's got all the kick of wheat tea. Wheat tea! Now pour me a pint of that good Guinness stout with color you cannot see through. Put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale, boys. Pour me a beer that is true. Kazoos! Then the waitress came by when I'd finished my first one, an angry young woman named Jill. She snatched up my empty without even looking and went off to find a refill. She brought back a glass of some pale liquid garbage, said, "Here's the Bud you asked for." I gave her a glare that would knock down a horse and sang out this chorus once more. Oh, put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale. It's not the right flavor for me. The color's all wrong and there's not enough foam, and it's got all the kick of wheat tea. Wheat tea! Now pour me a pint of that good Guinness stout with color you cannot see through. Put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale, boys. Pour me a beer that is true. So if ever you're seeking a beer with good flavor to finish your day or your meal, if they serve you a Miller's, a Coors, or a Bud, or some other brand that ain't real, if the king of beers is your only selection, I hope you will answer like this. Put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale, boys. I won't drink 12 ounces of that lousy beer. Oh, put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale. It's not the right flavor for me. The color's all wrong and there's not enough foam, and it's got all the kick of wheat tea. What? Wheat tea! Now pour me a pint of that good Guinness stout with color you cannot see through. Put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale, boys. Pour me a beer that is true. Put that Budweiser back in the Clydesdale, boys. And pour me a beer that is, pour me a beer that is, pour me a beer that is true. I guess you don't want them back, do you, Bob? Okay. You may keep the kazoos.